This is Larry Henares making your day with part 53 of our book on Philippine history. Subject, American military bases. One thing we must remember is that mendicancy and colonial mentality come cheap. American bases in the Philippines are the biggest outside the continental United States, much larger than those in Spain, Turkey, and Greece. Yet we are paid a measly $180 million a year for the use of our bases, while Spain is paid $415 million yearly, more than twice as much. Turkey is paid $938 million, more than 5 times ours. Greece, $501 million, almost 3 times what we're being paid. The Soviet Union pays for the use of Vietnam's Cam Ranh bases $1 billion, almost 6 times what we are paid for ours. Giving nothing except a few emergency landing fields, Egypt is paid $1.175 billion, or 6.5 times ours, and Israel $1.4 billion, or 8 times what we are being paid here. We should also be guided by the fact that while our so-called rent for the bases is subject to yearly approval by the U.S. Congress on the basis of best efforts by the Reagan government, the rent given to Spain and Turkey is guaranteed by treaty and not subject to yearly dole-out by the Congress. We should also know that under Spanish-American Treaty, a Spanish commander is in full charge of the bases in Spain, and the stockpiling of nuclear weapons is subject to approval by the Spanish government, unlike in the Philippines, where the U.S. military has full control of base operations and can keep our government totally ignorant of any nuclear stockpile. Above all, we must be aware of the fact that under the NATO treaty, any attack on Spanish bases is considered an attack on the Americans, and as such is subject to automatic retaliation by American forces, but not so in the Philippines, where our bilateral treaty stipulates that in case of attack, both the Philippines and the United States may, if at all, declare war only according to its constitutional process, that is, by the act of Congress. More about this after these messages. This is Larry Henares making your day with part 53 of a book we wrote on Philippine history. Subject, American military bases. In Spain, the leaders insist on ratification by the people through plebiscite of any basis treaty entered into with the United States, simply because the leaders know that they have a proudly nationalistic people to fall back on. In the Philippines, we know that the CIA has the means to manipulate public opinion and the Filipino electorate to the advantage of the United States. Not only that, it has been observed that the Americans seem to be able to select the Filipino who will negotiate with them. That is, a Filipino known to be a supporter of American interests, not a Filipino nationalist who is expected to defend, protect, and promote the interests of the Filipino people. God save us from our friends. For me, to call Secretary George Shultz a fatso is like the pot calling the kettle black, for we are both overweight. George and I are both graduates of MIT, in Boston that is. Both college deans, he in the University of Chicago and I in the Lyceum University and in FIATE. And both he and I are cabinet members, so he cannot assume any superior airs over me, right? Right, Fatso? So you're bluffing, Fatso, when you threaten to move the U.S. bases elsewhere. If we ask for higher payments for their use or insist on the no nukes provisions of the Constitution. First, Fatso, you're a lame duck like your boss Reagan, out of the office by December and won't be around in 1991 when the basis negotiations start. We will negotiate with the new president, not you, Fatso. Secondly, Fatso, you picked the wrong guy as your envoy. Secretary Fidel Ramos may be pro-American, but he's not a traitor. I know him enough to assure you that he will not attempt a coup d'etat on your behalf. He may want you to have the bases, but you will have to pay through the nose for them. Thirdly, cheapskate, if you're willing to pay Egypt $2 billion just for landing rights, you should pay us a lot more for the biggest bases outside of the United States. To transfer the bases elsewhere, be it Guam, Palau, or Australia, means at least 5 days more sailing time for the U.S. Navy to reach the Indian Ocean and the Middle East, and the same additional time to get back for refitting and refueling. That gives you less response time to any Soviet threat, I said during that time. More next time, my dear friends. This is Larry Henares making your day, saying good day, God bless you. Thank you very much for being with us. Till next time, hasta la bye-bye.